Okay, on the next section, the distributive property. When you distribute, you share. If someone asked you to distribute pencils to everyone in the room, you'd give everybody a pencil. If you were distributing candy, you'd give everyone candy. Well, here we're distributing a 6 to the x and to the -2. Pay attention to that -2. Now, the reason I draw lines is because one of the most common mistakes in algebra is not distributing to both. The most common wrong answer here is 6x minus 2. And again, that's wrong. And it's not a bad idea to write that down to remind yourself what's wrong. Because it's not 6x minus 2. It's 6x minus 12. Because the 6 gets sent to both things inside the parentheses. Now here, the 2x is getting sent to both. So first we're going to deal with the 2 times 3, which is 6. And the x times x, which remember is x squared. Now, this stays plus, we get 6x. 2 times 3 is 6, the x just tags along. Now, number 3, notice we have a lot of negative. So we're setting this in here and there. Be careful with this one, especially with the negatives. I'm going to move it up so I have a little bit more accuracy with the board. Okay, so right here, when I send the -4 in, first off I'm doing -4 times -6. So that's 24. Negative times negative is positive. N times n is n squared. Then negative times negative is positive. 4 times 1 is 4, and the n just tags along. All right? Remember, anytime you need to, if you're ever going too fast, you always hit pause and rewind. Now, combining like terms. I like to use some symbols when I'm combining like terms just to organize everything. So like I might underline, my k's and put a V underneath the numbers. That shows me that the only two things that go together is the 6K and the 2K. 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 kites plus 2 kites is 8 kites, so 8K. And the 7 just tags along. So here, on number 2, I have x, I have another x here. I have an x squared, and x squared. And then this 2, I'm just going to put a squiggle. Now remember, we always want to go in descending order. Standard form always has the highest exponents first. So I'm going to do 3x squared minus 4x squared. Well, let's just look at the numbers. 3 minus 4 is -1. And then what's the thing we're talking about? X squared. Now, in this case, it's sometimes helpful to like cross out what you've already done to make sure you don't get confused later on. Now I'm going to combine my x's. -7x plus 2x. Same thing as 2x minus 7x, which is minus 5x. And then what's left? Just the 2. And I've done it. Now, what you have to be careful about here is this negative sign right here gets distributed here, here, and here. I would go ahead and first off rewrite this right underneath. The -4x becomes positive 4x, and the positive 7 becomes -7. And then I would cross this out. Just get rid of it. All right? Why? Because I don't want, or just off, sorry. I don't want to get confused. Now, what am I joining together? Well, x squared and x squared, x and x, number and number, constant and constant. So, combine. 1x squared minus 3x squared is -2x squared. 3x plus 4x is 7x. And then 6 minus 7 is -1. Now, let's kind of put it all together. We've already solved the basic equations, and we've just done distributive property. We're going to put it together in one problem. So first off, we're going to distribute the negative 2. Negative 6x minus 14 equals 15. Now remember, that negative 2 does not get multiplied with 15. Only what's in the parentheses. Now, we're right back to the same two-step problem before we had. Remember, PEMDAS became SADMEP. So with SADMEP, instead of multiplication then subtraction, we are undoing the subtraction part right here. Whoops, sorry about that. By adding 14 to both sides. Now when we do that, we're going to get negative 6x equals 15 plus 14, 29. And now we undo it by division. And we're going to get an answer of x equals negative 29 over 6. And that is okay. We can get fraction answers. In fact, we can plug this back in. It's a bit of a pain because it's a fraction. Okay? But we could plug that back in and do the math and confirm that it does end up being 15. Okay? Now this next one. Now, this is all tied together by multiplication right here. So we're going to leave that alone. We're going to undo the subtraction first. After we do that, we're going to be left with this. Equals 100 minus 10 is 90, and that would be 88. Now, there would be a shortcut if 6 went into 88 evenly, like say that was 66. We could divide both sides by 6, not send the 6 in, not distribute the 6, just divide. Because this is 6 times the parentheses, which is the same thing as 6 times x. So if the 88 was divisible by 6 evenly, that would be a shortcut and would save you time. But since 88 divided by 6 is decimal, or a fraction, it's 14 2/3, we can't do that. So we need to send the x in, which means our answer is going to be a fractional answer. And again, that's okay. So 6x minus 6 times 5 is 30. 6 plus 3 is 90. Well, 6 plus 3 is 9, so 90 equals 88. Now we're back to a two-step problem. We're going to add 90 to both sides. That cancels. The 6x just comes down. Sorry, that looks like 98, but it's really just 90. 4 is off. So that's 8. 9 plus 8 is 17. And then we're just going to say our answer is so close. Not working. We're going to divide by 6. And our answer is 178 over 6. If we wanted to, we could convert that into a mixed number, okay, by dividing by 178 divided by 6, okay, and that would be okay. It goes in 29 times with 2 left over, 4 left over, and 6, which reduces to 2/3. So 4 6 is 2/3. But you can leave your answer just like that. It's okay. Unless we tell you that the answer cannot be an improper fraction, you're good to go. Okay, so we're going to do a few more for practice. So we're going to send 3 in and the 1/2 in to both items. Remember that. So that's going to give me, whoops. That's going to give me 3x plus 6 equals, now half of 4 is 2. And half of negative 8 is negative 4. Now this is a little bit different. We have numbers and variables on both sides. Remember, we can have x equals a number or a number equals x. It makes no difference. But let's think ahead. If I subtracted 3x from both sides, I would end up with negative 1x. And since I don't want negative answers, I'd have to divide by negative 1. So in this case, it's better, it saves time and steps to subtract the 2x from both sides. We're going to move it over to the left side. That leaves me x plus 6 equals negative 4. Now, since I moved the letters left, that means I need to move the numbers right. So how do I get rid of positive 6? I'm going to subtract 6. Which is going to give me x equals negative 4 minus 6 is negative 10. It's not 2, it's not negative 2. Okay? Think about it. You borrow $4, you borrow $6 more, you owe somebody $10. Okay, quick review. Express using algebra. Now this is just a review of everything. Okay? And you're going to be evaluated on this. So this is a summary of everything. The quotient, that means division of 2 times a number squared and 3. So let's see, a number squared, that's x squared. So the quotient, that means I have a fraction right off the bat. So just start there. Of 2 times a number squared. 2 times a number squared. Remember the dot's not important. I can get rid of the dot, I can put parentheses, it makes no difference. And 3. Whenever we have a quotient, and is like the fraction bar, the division symbol. So whatever's after the and goes on the bottom. That's it. Evaluate. This is PEMDAS. Ooh, there's a lot going on. So what do we have going on here? We have E, we have D, we have M, and we have A for addition. Oh, what else? We have P for parentheses. So we always do PEMDAS, parentheses. So this is 2 minus 1. I'm just going to save some time here. I just put a 1 there. Okay? Instead of rewriting everything, I'm just going to kind of put that 1 there in parentheses. Now after parentheses, I do exponents. So 1 squared, that's easy enough. That's still just 1. So that simplifies to 1 divided by 4 times 2 plus 1/2. I said 4, but I didn't write it, did I? So 1 divided by 4 times 2 plus 1/2. Okay. So we have division, multiplication, and addition. Now remember, just because it's PEMDAS, MD, we don't multiply first. This is not 1/2 divided by 8. You must go in order. They have equal power. So we must do this first. So 1 divided by 4, we have 2 choices. We can change it into a decimal, 0.25, or just write it as a fraction, 1/4, times 2 plus 1/2. Now, what's 1/4 times 2? Well, think about it. 1/4 is a quarter. What's 2 quarters? 50 cents, or $0.50. So that's 1/2 plus 1/2, which equals out to be just 1 whole. Now, what if we did decimals? 1 divided by 4, that's 0.25, times 2, plus 1/2, which is 0.5. 2 quarters makes 50 cents, and that makes 1 whole. Same thing. Okay, we're just going to review. Now this is going to be a little bit longer here because this is the notes for the next 2 days. So instead of breaking up, we're just going to get it done now. And there will be no homework for the next night. So, solve. Again, we get rid of the addition first, minus 6. That gives me 7x equals 11 minus 6 is 5. Oh no, 5 is not divisible by 7. That's okay. We can leave an answer as a fraction. 5/7. Okay, again, one of those problems where we have numbers on one side, both sides, and letters on both sides. I can move the x over and get 5x. I can move the 6x over and get negative 5x. Most people like to keep their stuff positive, so I'm going to do that. 6x minus x is 5x. Plus 18 equals 20. Now I'm right back to the problem like number 3. I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides. This cancels, leaving me 5x equals 2. Again, not divisible. My answer is going to remain a simple fraction, 2 over 5. No big deal. Distributive property, both sides. 8x, 8 times negative 7 is negative 56. Equals 4x, 4 times 5 is 20. Again, either way, I'm going to keep myself positive, so I'm going to subtract 4x. That gives me 8 minus 4 is 4x, positive 4x, minus 56 equals 20. Two-step problem. Get rid of the addition, subtraction first by addition. 4x equals 6. 5 plus 2 is 7. Oh, we're actually going to get a whole answer this time, whole number answer. Half of 76 is 38. Half of that is 19. X equals 19. Two-step problem again. Well, 2 things on each side. So, going to keep it positive. Move this over here, add 5x. This cancels. 7 plus 5 is 12. X, the plus 6 stays, equals 11. Subtract 6 from both sides. Again, I'm going to end up with a fractional answer, and that's okay. 12x equals 11 minus 6, 5. Divide. And that's my answer. X equals 5 over 12. No harm. Number 7. Now, there's 3 things on the left side, but these are like terms. So I'm going to simplify first. 6x minus 5x is x. Plus 18 equals 20 plus x. Now this is going to be an interesting problem. When I get rid of this x, look what happens. That x disappears. And I'm left with 18 equals 20. Is that a true statement? No, it's not. That's a lie. So there is no answer. It's called the empty set. If you end up with a lie, like 2x equals 5x, 7 equals 4, cats are the same as dogs, whatever, that means it is no solution. Either one of those answers is fine. Okay, so I'm going to distribute first. X minus 7 equals 4x plus 20. Now look, here, in this case, if I move the 4x over, I've been going left the whole time so far. If I do that, I'm going to have negative 3x. I want to keep it positive. You don't have to. But if I do it this way, look what happens. Negative 7 equals 4x minus x is 3x plus 20. Subtract 20. Since I moved the letters right, I have to move the numbers left. Cancel. I get, borrows $7, borrows $20, I owe $27. Equals 3x. Last step is to divide. And that works out to be negative 9 equals x. And I can write it either way. This is okay. Or I can write this, which most people are more comfortable with. X equals negative 9. Now, I can't remember if it's coming up, but look at number 7 again. When we get a lie, there's no solution. But let's say we end up with a number, an answer like this. Well, that was weird. X equals x, or 7 equals 7. And you know what? I need a dividing line right there, so that worked out well. If I end up with a true statement, then my answer is this funky R, all real numbers. Every number makes it true. So just remember that. You can have no solution or all real numbers. True or false statement. Okay, last two. We're done. Look at all of that. So I'm going to clean this up first. X's and X's, numbers and numbers. Now remember, notice I did not underline anything on the right side. You're not doing 3x minus 5x minus 6x. You only combine on the same side. You cannot ignore this equal sign. That's kind of a dividing line, two sides of the fence. Clean up each side only. So 3x minus 5x is negative 2x. 7 plus 12 is 19. Equals negative 6x minus 5. Now I want to keep it positive, so I'm going to add 6x. And I'm going to add 6x. No big deal. If I did it the other way, and I would have added 2x, I would end up with negative 4x. This way I'm ending up with positive 4x. No biggie. Equals negative 5. Since I moved my letters left, I moved my numbers right. And since it was addition, I subtract. So I get 4x equals borrow $5, borrow $19, you owe $24. And then when you divide by 4, you get x equals negative 6. And again, you can go back and plug that into the top, and you'll find out it's a true statement. Okay, last. Combine these two. Distribute here. 2x minus 10x is negative 8x plus 15. Equals 3 times 3 is 9x. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. I want my x's positive, so I'm going to add 8x. It's not a big deal if I don't. Cancel. 15 equals 17x minus 21. I move my letters right, I move my numbers left. And if I'm subtracting 21, to undo it, I add it. So what do I get? That's a 6, and that's a 3. Oh, if this was just an 18, and I wrote that anyway. If this was just an 18, it would work out perfectly, but it doesn't. Because 9 plus 8 is 17. So when I divide by 17, it's okay. I get an answer of x equals 36 over 17, and I'm finished.